I'd trade DiCaprio Boodle for Leonardo DiCaprio at this point.
Leonardo DiCaprio, Wolf of Wall Street, or Leonardo DiCaprio, What's Eating Gilbert Grape?
Gilbert Grape. That's the one I want. Gilbert! Gilbert! That's the guy that's
Gilbert.
better than Boodle.
Welcome back to another edition of All Chiefed Up. I'm Steve and I'm here with Mike. Today we're going to take some of your questions about the game against the Bears on Saturday, and we're also going to break down the first team offense and first team defense's drives and talk about them a little more in depth. But before we get started, if you guys would trade DiCaprio Boodle for Leonardo DiCaprio, What's Eating Gilbert Grape, Leonardo DiCaprio, go ahead and smash that like button right now. Also, if you're not a subscriber yet, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell so you get notifications when they come out with new content, and we appreciate you.
Let's jump right in some Q&A. We got Elle from Nebraska. She asked, who is a few defenders that you were surprised by?
Surprise-wise, I wasn't too surprised with George Karlaftis looking good and things like that. This kind of was expected. So I would say surprise, the defensive tackles, man. Taylor Stallworth had some great plays. Colin Saunders flashed and made a good run stop. And then, of course, your boy that you really, really liked, Matt Dickerson.
I got Matt Dickerson on there. I thought he hustled. I thought he looked good. He got drove out of the play on some run blocks, but I mean, other than that, when it was passing downs, he looked good. He hustled. Nasir Greer, the Chiefs actually brought him in on a top 30 visit, so he's not a stranger to Kansas City. He is a dark horse to make that. He had a sack and a tackle for a loss, and at 6'1", 209, that kid can play. I think he's a dark horse to make the roster, especially with Key not looking too good and Bush struggling at times back there.
Absolutely. I would say he was surprised because he was great. I would have mentioned him as well if you didn't. So Colton from KC, he says the pass rush looked great, but who will have a better season for rushing the passer? Will it be Frank Clark or will it be Carlos Dunlap? And he also asked, do you think George Karlaftis will outperform either of those two?
So I think Frank Clark will outperform Carlos Dunlap. I think Clark, as long as he stays focused, as long as he just looks like he's in better shape. It looks like he's giving us more.
He's got a newfound attitude. He's got to keep focus. He's got to keep focus.
Right. I think he could possibly break double-digit sacks. Dunlap could get close. I think he's more around the 7 to 9. It's possible he breaks double digits as well. I'd love to see it. As for George Karlaftis, I think Karlaftis probably gets it together. If he can keep working on that front, that first step, be quick, keep absorbing all these things from Dunlap and Clark, I think by the end of the year, he pushes Dunlap, to be a more dominant starter. And yeah, I think he could probably finish the season with more sacks than Dunlap, but I think they're pretty similar. And I'd give the edge to Karlaftis because he's a little younger. He hopefully, the injury bug don't get nobody or anything like that. But if there's something like that, I would say the older guy probably has to, dodge that some more. So yeah, I would say Karlaftis eventually comes on and does well.
I'm right there with you. I think Frank Clark is going to break that double-digit sack. I think that Dunlap's going to be around 8 for the year, but I do think that George Karlaftis is going to be nipping at their heels, man, because he's taking in everything that they're throwing at him, and he's working hard, and we've seen it. It paid off in his first preseason game. He looked great.
Okay, so Scotty from Texas, he asked, what play most impressed you from the preseason game number 1?
All right. Well, the first thing that comes to mind would be Skyy Moore toe tap on the sideline because it was just impressive. But I'm going to go ahead and skip over that one. I'm going to go with something that wasn't quite as effective, but yeah, impressive. And that was the 5-yard gain by Isaiah Pacheco on the screen pass. The reason why I'm putting this is, the play that surprised me the most is because, we've been saying this for a long time, but a lot of people didn't want to listen. But Isaiah Pacheco is very Kareem Hunt-esque, and it looked just like a Kareem Hunt play. He had a guy coming at him. He went ahead. He took the hit. He maintained his balance, got back on his feet, and used his speed to gain 5 yards out of nothing. And, I mean, if that's just a flash of things to come, I'm absolutely loving it. I'm having that.
Yeah, we've said from the beginning he's the love child of Adrian Peterson and Kareem Hunt. So it was good to see him do that. I'm going to go ahead and stick with the toe tap, the Skyy Moore. He just tickles the grass. It looked beautiful. Skyy Moore is very exciting to watch in Kansas City. I think he's going to have a breakout year, even better than we thought he was going to look. He just looks so shifty and his routes look so smooth, and I'm just excited to see where he goes.
Lamonte from St. Louis, he actually asked, Well, he didn't ask. He stated that he was not impressed with Rojo or Lonnie Johnson. The question he asked is, why do you think players that were great in college completely fall off the wagon?
Okay, so Lamonte joined the club. We said it that we were not impressed either. So we're all in the same boat there. It's just one of those things, where it's a different game. You have to commit your entire every day 24/7 to it when you get to this level. In college, you just you do a portion of it, and then you go to class or you do whatever. And in the NFL, the playbooks get harder. The practices get tougher. Your competition goes up. It's not that they fall off. It's more like maybe they just can't keep up to the grind and they just can't keep up with the talent level. But I don't think Rojo or Lonnie is doing that in any way. I just believe maybe the rookies are nipping on their heels a little bit. Maybe it's the new playbooks and,
Feeling the
they're,
pressure.
yeah, and they're both learning a new playbook here. So it may be something like that. I think they'll both be fine. Even if we was to get rid of them, they're both going to go to a different team and play football. It's not a big deal.
Right, guys. I mean, it's all about maintaining that focus as well. If you don't come into the league with just a drive to be the best you can be and to work really hard, sometimes you can get left behind because it's a big leap from college to NFL. Not saying that these guys did that, but it has happened. Sometimes your game just don't translate. I mean, one of my favorite stories is DeAndre Baker, the guy we just cut. I mean, he was a first round draft pick, but we all remember him in college. Debo Samuels was talking trash at an interview. They asked him about DeAndre Baker, and he said, "Who?" So in that game, DeAndre Baker completely shut him down, made him look useless. He even had a pick six that he ran back. And then at the end of the game, he just looked at the camera and said, "Hey, they know who I am now." So, I mean, that's a great story, but that just goes to show you all the talent in the world in college. And he came to the NFL, got in some trouble, didn't stay up to speed, and then now he's getting cut from the Chiefs, 3, 4 years later.
Hey, well, let's jump into some offense and defense first team analysis. We're going to go a little more in depth. We didn't get to really get too in depth in our breakdown video on just the first team because we were so excited to talk about rookies and everybody else. But we're just going to stick with the first team defense, first team offense, and we'll jump right in. So the defense was on the field first and foremost right off the bat. First play number one, great pressure up front. It looked like Stallworth may have been starting. I couldn't really tell. I'm not for sure. It may have been Stallworth. It may not have. It may have been Wharton. I'm not for sure. But either way, they got good pressure. Justin Fields throws it to the right side, and Justin Reed comes out of nowhere and just wallops the dude. Very honey badger like. Like that was beautiful, wasn't it?
Absolutely. If you guys aren't excited about Justin Reed, I don't know what you've been watching because this guy was all over the field. He looked excellent, and he's just excited to be out there. He seems so happy, man, and he's just a great addition to this team.
So play two, Chicago ran the ball. One thing I noticed, we had talked about Frank Clark maybe getting a little quicker, maybe dropping some weight. He got demolished. He got just drove off the line by 6 or 7 yards. He was completely out of the play. But Willie Gay was doing some Willie Gay stuff, and he comes flying in, takes out the running back. It looked just like he has in camp. And if Willie can stay healthy, man, that's what we're looking forward to this year, and I'm excited for it.
Of course, and that's not a knock on Frank Clark either because he looked great the rest of the game that he was in. I mean, he looks fast, he looks crisp, and I think he's going to have a great year. But sometimes when you drop some weight and gain some speed, it's going to hurt you in the run game a little bit. So that's kind of what we saw happen.
So on third down, Spags and the Chiefs pull out something that Steve has mentioned before. They line up Karlaftis, Jones, Mike Dana, and Frank Clark all along the front four.
Let's just take a second to acknowledge the fact that I was right, and whoever that guy was in the comments that gave me so much crap about it was wrong because he acted like I was crazy for saying that's something that Spagnuolo does. But I mean, if you watch the old Giants, they did it all the time. It's something that Spagnuolo does. So, yeah,
Right.
I just want him to hold your L on that one, buddy.
So Karlaftis creates a lot of pressure. Jones creates a lot of pressure. Jones eventually does get there. He takes him down. This is regular season Jones, preseason Jones, not postseason Jones. So he did not miss the tackle. And good coverage on the back end though too. You got to give the DB some credit. So they have to punt. It's a 3 and out by the defense. That's all we've seen the first team defense play. Looked pretty much amazing. I give them an A plus.
A plus.
Let's get to that punt though. McDuffie took the punt. I did not like McDuffie taking the punt. Something about it wasn't pleasing to the eye. He didn't look elusive enough. He didn't look shifty enough. He actually took a hard hit. I don't want to see a guy that I traded up for in the first round that is a DB taking punts. Skyy Moore, I'm fine with it, but I don't like McDuffie taking punts for some
Right.
reason.
Well, when Dave Tobe first mentioned that McDuffie was going to take punts and that he was the best one catching everything, it just didn't pass the smell test for me. I didn't like it to begin with, so I still don't. I think that should be something that McCole Hardman's doing, Skyy Moore's doing, guys that are quick in small spaces and can be shifty. Don't be throwing our first round draft pick out there to return punts. We need him healthy on that defense.
Yeah, exactly. So overall, I give the defense an A+. They couldn't have had any better outing, I don't
Absolutely.
think. Let's move on to the offense. So play number one, the Chiefs come out slinging it. You know, they line up in the I formation. Burton shifts over to the weak side. He eventually wants the snap. He comes back to the strong side. He goes right in behind the tight end that vacates the area, and it's a designed, a little pass over to Burton. Burton picks up like 12 yards. Andy Reid style to come out and just go right to a fullback right off the bat. Like, that's weird, right?
Right. And it also sets the tone for Mahomes and maybe what he's going to look like this season because it kind of set, a pace for what happened the rest of the drive. He was just taking what the defense was giving him, being very patient. And if he can continue to do that and not always be looking for that home run ball, he's going to have a great year, man.
Right. So speaking of Mahomes' patience, play number two, they line up in the shotgun. They go four wide. Defense plays a little zone. Miko goes right to the first down marker, turns around. Mahomes puts it on him. They give him 9 yards on the play. But yeah, it was a nice little pitch and catch. Love to see Hardman getting involved early.
Right. And like I was saying off the camera, I think it's great to see McCole in a situation where he's making a contested catch of some sort. Because, we always think of McCole as the gadget guy or the guy that's trying to take the top off the defense or maybe a screen pass or a handoff. But you don't see him, at the chains down there making a contested catch. And that's kind of what that was. So I was excited to see that.
Right. So play number three, I analyzed a little more than other plays. It was the first run play. It was a designed play where Clyde, two tight end set, Clyde's going to run up the right side, and Bell kind of becomes his fullback, his lead blocker. But I did notice that Creed initially, he takes a double team with Tooney. The linebacker comes in. Creed's a little late getting to the linebacker, and the linebacker does make the play for no yards. He's being helped by Wiley's guy. Wiley never blocked the guy worth a crap the entire play. Like, the dude just demolished Wiley on the whole play. Smith kind of let the guy go around him a little bit to the B gap, but again, I think Trey Smith knew that he was going to take himself out of the play, and he did. So it looked like a lot of pressure from him, but it wasn't really nothing. Creed missed his block a little bit, but I mean, you got to give him credit. He'd already been blocking somebody else. Like, he's just helping the linebacker at this point. And
Right.
then, but Wiley did totally miss a block there. Wiley struggled a little bit. You'll see that as a theme over the next few plays.
Right. But, it's just preseason and maybe, they're just getting everything together. So I'm not going to hold that to Creed on missing, an extra block when he was already wrapped up in a block. But it's good to see Trey Smith letting people run themselves out of the play. Now, don't waste your energy when you don't have to. Play smarter, not harder. And then also, Darian Kennard, you didn't look that great either, but this just shows you that could be your starting job. Wiley struggled a little bit. So there's an opening there, but you've got to make it happen, man. I think we will see him as that starter eventually, but he's got to show up.
Right. So on 3rd and 1, they go ahead, they go to the offset I, they hand the ball off to Burton again. Burton chunks off 3 or 4. They pick up the first. On the next play, it's an I formation lead play, just a simple I formation lead to Clyde. Clyde picks up 6 yards. So Clyde looked pretty good. Clyde will come back in a minute and make a nice little block we'll talk about. But yeah, he looked pretty good. On play number 7, they line up in I formation again. This time it's a little play action. Mahomes fakes the handoff. Kelsey runs a nice over route. They find him up the field, a big chunk. Wiley was beat on the play again, and Mahomes took a pretty hard hit. This is also the play where CEH kind of picked up Kelsey's guy. Kelsey released off the linebacker. The linebacker delayed blitz, and Clyde come in and picked it up, which is why Clyde is in the number 1 row. He's very good at picking up run blocking and blitzes and things like that. So yeah, that was a nice play. Beautiful Kelsey over the middle. I mean, that's what we see from Kansas City often.
Right. So 3 things to take away from that play. Mahomes said he wanted to get out there and get his first hit. I bet he wasn't expected to get smacked like that for the first time. But Kelsey doing Kelsey things, good to see. And then Clyde picking up that block and having a good run play the play before that. Clyde, you got to have your year, man. You got to stay healthy and be on the field and break out this year.
The next play, they line up in the I formation 2 wide. It's MVS and Juju. Mahomes actually should have hit MVS for the touchdown. They were going for the end zone. It was kind of, I think it looked underthrown, but it's because Mahomes got his arm hit. Orlando Brown let the defensive end come across his body, and he tipped Mahomes' arm when he was passing it. So Orlando has got to get that fixed, because this is the knock on Orlando Brown and why they didn't want to pay him in the first place.
Right. I don't think it's anything to worry about. It could just be a product of him getting to camp late, still getting his footwork together and all that good stuff. But I mean, he looked fantastic otherwise outside of that play alone. But yeah, I can chalk that up to it being the preseason first game of the year.
Play number 9, they line up in a shotgun spread 4 wide. They eventually just turn around, hand the ball off to Pacheco. He gets his first carry. Again, Orlando Brown, for the play before, didn't look good. This time he looked great. He takes the defensive end. He washes the entire line down. If Pacheco, a little more field vision, maybe felt a little more comfortable, maybe if it wasn't his first play from scrimmage and he just didn't want to screw it up, he maybe could have put his foot in the ground, cut back to the left, and he had an open lane. He would have still been running right now. So that may be something they'll find him on film. But as you've said before, I think since it was his first play, he just wanted to put his head down, not fumble the ball, run hard, and see what happens.
Right. In college, he didn't have the best offensive line, and he got really accustomed to bouncing outside and using his speed to kill the other teams. So you're going to see him find holes open and take those when he gets more acclimated. But for now, I mean, he's the new guy. He's the rookie. He's going to run this play like it's designed and go with it and just do what he's got to do. So, I mean, you're going to see a lot more from Pacheco, improvising and things like that later on.
Play number 10, they line up in a shotgun, a spread again. There's 4 wide. They take the snap. The pocket looks like it's not clean, but it's clean enough that Mahomes, he can maneuver, and then it starts to break down. Tooney's guy starts getting in the mix. Wiley's guy starts getting in the mix. Wiley gets beat again pretty much, but not so bad that Mahomes gets hit, but he does have to step up. He holds the linebackers. He runs right up to the line of scrimmage, and then he fires to MVS up the field for about, I want to say like 12 yards or something. But again, that's what Mahomes does best.
Yeah, that was just Mahomes being Mahomes. Stepped up, made the play, kind of looked off the defense a little bit. I don't know if it was a no-look pass or not, but it could have been. But yeah, looked off the defense, found him there for the first down. So good stuff.
So on the play 11, they line up in shotgun again. It ends up being a little swing pass to Pacheco on the right side. This was the one that you were so impressed with, where Pacheco catches it. He puts his shoulder down. He shows amazing balance, and he makes something out of nothing.
Right. I mean, like I said, if that's a flash of things to come, I'm excited on Pacheco.
And then the last play was the touchdown play. It was a little slip screen to Blake Bell. Bell walks in the end zone untouched, basically. That's typical Andy Reid in red zone. I don't think he had to dig too deep to find that one. He likes to run that a lot. So, yeah. The offense looked efficient. They looked good. It didn't even look like they tried too hard. They didn't get many third down situations. I mean, there was a few missed blocking assignments, so I'll give them an overall, probably an A, whereas I give the defense an A+. So there's still some things to work on, but to be honest, man, they looked efficient. They looked good.
Everybody should be excited about this team, man, because for that being the first drive of both first teams for the year, they looked excellent. There was some minor mistakes, but that's stuff that can be worked on, and they're going to get the kinks out sooner or later. If you guys are ready to see the Chiefs first team offense get back on the field and score a touchdown against the Washington Commanders on Saturday, make sure to smash this like button right now. Also, if you're not a subscriber yet, make sure to hit that subscribe button, hit the bell to get notifications when we come out with new content. If you go back to our previous video, it was kind of a celebration for the 1K subs. Make sure you get down there and get a comment on that, because it will give you an extra entry into the drawing for the All Chiefed Up mystery box that's going out since we hit 1K. Also, now we got a more lofty goal. By the end of the season, we're on the road to 5K during the season. So that's the next stop here. Very lofty goal, big hill to climb, but I think we can do it. We appreciate you guys commenting, talking about us, telling your friends, all that good stuff. Y'all have a great day, and we will see you next time.
See you guys. Subscribe.
Aside from my soul.